Costa Rica, a country that accounts for only 0.03% of the Earth's surface, but carries 6% of its biodiversity.
Hi, I'm Becca, and earlier this year I had the incredible opportunity to go to Costa Rica with my incredible, amazing, autistic dad in preparation for his new upcoming illustrated map. So I went on this trip with one mission: to get content for social media, and we kind of had no plan on what we were going to do with this content.
It is so cool.
But there was something about Pacuare that from the second I got off the little boat that takes you along the river to the reserve, that just felt so special, and it just felt like I needed to share it. So I started documenting everything I could because I knew I needed to share a little bit of this. And so it all just kind of snowballed, and here we are.
Hansen, Ecology Project International. I'm the interim co-executive director. Our mission is to connect students through science, empower them, connect them to nature, and through that, growing leadership.
So I'm Greg Robitaille. My brother Chris and I founded Xplorer Maps about 12 years ago, and our tagline is connecting people in place through art. We use these fine art story maps to hopefully, partner with different nonprofit conservation organizations around the world to tell their story through art.
And how did this partnership come to be?
We met a little bit of kismet. I would say it started with Missoula Gives in 2022.
Little Missoula Gives sticker from when EPI and Xplorer Maps first met, so that is kind of crazy, a little relic here.
And it didn't take long for us to be in a room together to realize that we had a lot of common ground, both really interested in promoting conservation and sense of place, and we do that through student leadership and science. And they do it through art.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just so happens that the place where EPI began in Costa Rica 23 years ago was a place that Xplorer Maps had been considering drawing a map for.
Completely serendipitous timing. Backing up a few steps, just post-COVID, Chris and I had sat down during COVID and kind of made a commitment to each other that going forward we wanted to put an increased emphasis on community connections with public lands conservation and wildlife conservation. One of the goals that we set out beginning in 2022 was, of the 5 or 6 new maps that we create each year, are committed going forward to making sure that one of those projects at least is with a Montana-based nonprofit conservation organization. And there's a plethora out there. But when Megan first reached out to us about coordinating with you on that First Friday event, everything, like you said, just sort of seemed to fall into place.
I first found out about Xplorer Maps through my friends' walls. Would see these beautiful map artworks framed upon walls of my friends' houses, and I was always in love with them whenever I saw them. I realized that Xplorer Maps didn't have a Costa Rica map. And so I had this idea kind of going in my head for a while. Really wanted to reach out to Xplorer Maps, see if they would maybe even want to partner with us on a Costa Rica map. I realized that Xplorer Maps and Ecology Project International were going to be tabling at the same event. I called them and reached out, and Greg was the one who picked up, and he goes, "Megan from EPI?" When people use our initials, that's usually how we know that they know more about us than we actually have told them. And so that felt like a good sign to me. We were gonna make something really beautiful together.
We have recently partnered with Ecology Project International. Been thinking about doing a map of Costa Rica for a little while now, and know that they have a presence at Pacuare Reserve. Just come back from 3 nights there. It's just a magical time. It was fantastic.
On the Caribbean coast, located between Tortuguero and Limon, lies Pacuare Reserve. Established in 1989, what was once land logged for timber or grazed by cattle is now protected land and has become home for over 2,000 species. The reserve covers approximately 1,700 acres of tropical rainforest, lining the 6 kilometers of coastline, making up some of the most important nesting sites for leatherback sea turtles in the country.
Hello, my name is Claudio Quesada. So I'm in charge of conservation and research in the reserve. Going back 40 years ago, 30 years ago, the conservation was like, okay, I need to protect this area and nobody's gonna enter this area and everything is gonna grow naturally there. Right now we know that communities around play a key role in conservation. And if we work together with local people, we get the results that we have right now in the reserve, where poaching rate is 0%, hunting is not anymore happening in the reserve. So when we educate the people and they really understand why it's important to do conservation, why it's important to have all the species in a natural process, they just need to know. They just need the power of knowledge.
Ultimately, the reserve is a centre for research, operating a number of long-term monitoring projects.
6-7 years is kind of stable, if we just...
Thanks to their numbers and research over the past 30 years, they have managed to get the government to name the surrounding area a biological corridor, not just private land, allowing for mammals such as jaguars to pass through and find a haven. Pacuare's main attraction and point of research is the turtle monitoring and conservation. However, the turtles are only nesting a portion of the year, so that's why they have other programs to fill the year and target all areas of the reserve. Alongside the sea turtle monitoring program, they have programs monitoring felines, primates, and agami herons. The reserve covers beach, forest, and wetlands that host a great diversity of birds. At this time, there are 252 listed species, including the rare and elusive agami heron.
It's the most elegant heron I haven't seen in my life.
It's got something in its beak.
It has a beak.
When we went in early May, it was not quite agami season, so everyone was telling us, you're not going to see one, it's too early, they come in a couple weeks or so. And so Dad and I were like, okay, we're not going to see an agami, let it be, whatever. We were coming back from a boat trip, and Michael, a local who's driving the boat as well, he suddenly veered off. We went into this little inlet and we saw an agami heron just there in the little marshes on the side of the river. How he spotted it, I have no idea. But the staff and guides there are truly just experts. They know everything about the area, the biodiversity, and they can just spot things like that. It was so magical to see it. We only had a little glimpse, but they are just such incredible, beautiful birds.
Agami heron.
No.
You're joking.
Michael, you're a genius.
Agami herons only reside from southern Mexico to Brazil, and presently Pacuare Reserve is home to the only known nesting colony between Mexico and Colombia, making it a crucial site for their livelihood. So during the seasons where the agamis are nesting, researchers and visitors will walk 3 times a week to the nesting place, collecting data from the heron's lagoon, standing behind a net where they camouflage to avoid interference or scaring away the agamis, because as we've said, this site is crucial for their survival. The reserve houses 3 species of monkeys: the white-faced monkey, howler monkeys, and spider monkeys. These 3 populations are monitored by researchers and visitors. The efforts of conservation of the Costa Rican Caribbean primates are particularly difficult because there is no scientific information about their ethology and migration.
So a few years ago, there was a girl from Costa Rica, a teenager. She came in a high school trip. And she was like asking a lot of things about monkeys. So she got like really good into monkeys and we didn't have answers. I I'm honest. If I don't have the information, I say, I don't know. I can try to find some there is available, but most of her questions were, I don't know. Because of that, she got like, well, let's do something. I need to start doing something. And she started doing a really small activity, a few people in different national parks, people from Minister of Environment and another NGOs counting monkeys all over the country. And it's getting so famous, this program. And right now there are like more than 5,000 people counting monkeys once a year, normally the last 2 weeks of February. Just because there was no information, that's the perfect situation to create something new. And I can tell, probably we know 0.001% actually what is going on in the reserve. So that's the perfect situation to start new programs, to get a little bit more information about ecosystems and species and how the species are related between the ecosystem and them. So it's amazing, and it's amazing seeing how just one person can create a really big program like this one, monitoring of monkeys.
Leatherback sea turtles have been swimming around the world's oceans for about 110 million years. They are the largest living sea turtle and one of the largest reptiles on Earth, growing to more than 2 meters long and weighing 900 kilograms. They are also the only turtles that lack a hard shell, called carapace, and this specialized flexible carapace allows them to dive to great depths where they find their food in crustaceans and other marine invertebrates that are typically found on the ocean floor.
One of my favorite parts of the reserve as well was Claudio giving us such amazing educational talks on the research and the science, and he just made it so accessible. And one of my favorite facts that we learned that I'll share with you is because multiple males will reproduce with female leatherback sea turtles, they have the ability to, in their sac, hold sperm for up to 7 years, and they can select and keep the best quality sperm and just get rid of the bad quality ones. And I just thought that was an amazing fact.
Another reason why Pacuare Reserve's beach is one of the most important beaches in the world for the nesting of leatherback sea turtles is because of their extensive research and procedures regarding hatcheries.
For so many years, I have been working with hatcheries, and the main reason is erosion. Let's go back 22 years ago. One of the main problems was poaching, trying to find a solution how to manage the eggs and put the eggs in a safe place. So we came out with this idea of the hatchery.
The reserve has participated in publications of studies collaborating with institutions and researchers to create an optimized and successful structure for the hatcheries. In fact, the Costa Rican government adopted their manual and standardized processes as the model of how to work with hatcheries, and it is now national law.
So right now, the hatchling success in hatcheries is about 72%. The hatchling success in natural or in situ nest is about 16%. We turn from 16 to 72, just managing some variables that we know now that we can manage.
Hi, my name is Ellie. I'm a PhD student based at Pacuare Nature Reserve. I work out here for 5-6 months of the season each year, and I'm broadly interested in hatchery management and how temperature and climate change can affect hatching success of leatherback sea turtles. So thinking of ways that we can optimize the hatchery to get the most babies possible from the eggs that we're getting on the beach. I'm kind of looking forward to doing some more data analysis later this season and finding some answers to some of the research questions I have.
It's a really hard work because we need to walk with 80 eggs in a plastic bag, sometimes to nest, and sometimes walking 3.7 miles with the eggs. So it's a really hard work, but we see the result at the end of the embryo development process. We are changing, and actually right now we are doing more analysis with microbiota to understand which viruses, bacteria, or fungus are affecting the hatchling success, and try to find the best solution and how to manage these conditions better to improve a little bit more the hatchling success.
Working on the beach at night with the leatherbacks, it's an experience you can never match anywhere else. You know, you're under the stars, there's shooting stars. To see a leatherback come out of the ocean and kind of just see her wet carapace and be able to be so up close and personal with those animals, I really value that and really understand how unique an experience that is, and I really hold that really close to my heart. It's something that, you know, even in 20, 30 years, I'm always going to remember these nights on the beach, for sure.
As a veterinarian, what I see is there's so many populations of animals that are going down, and so many of those we struggle so hard to get access to, and to get an opportunity to work with a marine animal that is so elusive as the leatherback in such an environment with all of the people involved. It's just an awesome opportunity.
So every night during turtle nesting seasons, volunteers, staff members are out on what is called a census. And so the census is basically walking down the beach at night to see if you come across any turtles that are laying their eggs. And that's when they collect the eggs and take them to the hatchery. They also use that time to collect data on the turtles. So they tag the turtles so they can track and see which turtles are coming back each season, where they're coming back to. They take measurements of where they're coming on the beach. It's your opportunity to see a turtle in the flesh. So on our first night, Dad and I went on our census. We walked about 2.5 kilometers down the beach and we didn't see anything. There were just no turtles out. Then the next night, there was a turtle that came right up onto the beach just outside the kitchen. So it was a 2-second walk away.
We got to see a big female leatherback depositing her eggs in her nest that she had sort of made for about 45 minutes. It was already dark, but we had a full moon, so we were able to see everything. It was just magical. It was amazing.
Look at the girl.
Becca was on the front right flipper. You know, she has to make way, get the flipper out of the sand. And so we were helping out. Those research assistants were fantastic. We kind of watched what they were doing and they said, we will give you tasks to work on. So what a great opportunity. Amazing.
And how was it seeing the first leatherback turtle?
You know, the first time I saw it, I think that the thing that was most amazing to me was, yes, the turtle itself, it just the sheer size of the turtle. But what was really actually very moving for me was how much care the research assistants were showing. You could really just tell that the people who were working here, these young people who are working here as research assistants, just had so much love and care for the animal. And that really helped to take it from being about this amazing animal to just being this much bigger experience for me. To see people not just talking about wanting to save an endangered species, but how much love they have for the species.
It is such an intimate moment with you and the turtle. It's so quiet, you're lit by the moon. You can hear them breathing. On the third night, I was able to hold the bag under the turtle and feel the weight of the eggs as they fell in. You can smell everything. But even that, just being so close to this animal that is literally a dinosaur that you've seen emerge from the ocean. It's so much bigger than I ever could have imagined. You just get to really be a part of the research they're doing, collecting that data, and that I think was just the coolest thing ever, and I will never forget it.
I'm getting out of work by filming.
Embarrassing. I know, right?
I started coming to Pacuare when I was maybe 18 through a student group. My high school biology teacher opened the opportunity up to her students to come out here. I was able to save up enough money to come out here with an EPI group. It really put in my mind that this was somewhere I needed to come back to eventually. So then in the future, when I got older, I was in a state of sadness, and I really needed something to cheer me up and put fire into my life again. So I was able to come here again as a researcher, and this place really just restarted me and reset my life and reminded me of all the beautiful things in nature and all the beautiful people that there are in the world. It all just cheers up and brightens my day and my life every time I'm here. I made an agreement that I'd come back and paint some murals for them. And here I am, watching the turtles emerge, watching them lay their eggs, and then being the one to take those eggs and protect them. I really feel like you're a part of this turtle's existence and its life, and it's and its success. It just makes a very special connection to the world. I just think that the work that they do here is so important that I'm always happy to be a part of it. I've agreed to come back for a 4th time, so I'll be here again.
Definitely, yeah, we get all sorts of people coming through the reserve. Every day we kind of have new faces around here. So we get student groups through EPI, we get volunteers that are either short or longer term, we get eco-tourists. Especially the EPI students, I think it's really awesome to be able to go out on census with them and interact with them and really see the next generation of biologists out on the beach and get them really excited about conservation. I think something that's really unique about sea turtles in particular is they kind of provide that link between the marine and terrestrial environment. They obviously come up on the beach to lay eggs. Getting that hands-on experience, especially for the school groups, is really important to get people excited and engaged with the ocean. And you know, we have a few local people that come through as well that we see, and all of our staff members are local as well. So really just a huge mix of people from all sorts of different backgrounds and, you know, bringing in different ideas and lots of different languages you hear every day. So it's yeah, really cool blending of everyone from everywhere.
The situation very well. I know you're out here on a vacation area, basically, where most people would want to just be in the ocean, and you were at school the whole time.
Sense of community and connection in Pacuare was something that I found truly amazing. And I also felt it all throughout Costa Rica, really. Everyone was just so open and loving and accommodating. And I want to give a shout out to Edgar, who is our tour guide throughout the rest of our trip in Costa Rica. He has his own van and tour company, but he also works a lot with EPI, picking up people from the airport for them. And he just had so many good things to say about Pacuare and the work that they're doing. And even though his personal business focuses more on the private tours, he said he really wanted to keep his relationship with EPI, but he loves that he gets to play a part in taking visitors to this place and bringing them back and hearing the stories about the turtles, and he said it just brings him so much joy, and it was so cool seeing their connection and their relationship working together as well in such a beautiful and harmonious way. Claudio also told us this amazing story about what happened during COVID on the reserve. A lot of their work had to stop and slow down, and anyway, he had this amazing story about how the community came together, but I'll let him tell it.
COVID was a shocking moment for, I'm pretty sure for everybody, but for us in conservation, especially that we depend a lot in visitors, there were not any more income to do all the conservation that we normally do, you know, to pay either from the food to salaries for local people, for everybody that work in the reserve. So at that time we took the decision to close the north station, as we have two stations, two biological stations, one in the north, one in the south. So we keep working in the south, and the decision was to focus on half of the beach and hope for the best to the north part of the reserve. We were 18 people trying to do the work that normally is done by 1,000. So we had one family that lived right in front of the north station. They called me and they say, don't worry about the north. We're gonna take care about the place. We're gonna just be sure that nobody entered to hunting or to do illegal harvesting of eggs. So it was a really good time because we never asked for that. So we were just letting everybody know that we're gonna be in the south just in case they needed anything from us. That's at the end what really matters, when people take these kind of decisions without asking anything. They know how important we were until that time for the development of the communities. They're right now, after COVID, we keep working with them. It's amazing.
Before coming on the trip and talking with EPI, it was really cool discussing how Xplorer Maps' mission statement, connecting people in place, kind of coincides with theirs as well. You know, they really want to bring people to place, educate them about that, make them feel connected to nature again and to the turtles and the environment. It was just amazing to see that mission statement brought to life and just manifested in this place. You do feel really connected.
How did the content of a map apply to Ecology Project's mission, and how do you think utilizing that map will help with education?
I think it'll be really clear just from a quick view of the map of Costa Rica how incredibly biodiverse it is. I mean, Costa Rica takes up such a small percentage of the globe's surface, and it represents this enormous amount of biodiversity within. And we really work to connect both local students and visiting students and educators and community members to those incredible resources, fostering this sense of protection and restoration for everybody who has, comes in contact with that area.
Yeah, and I guess art is kind of an accessible way to see a place and really visualize its impact and what it has to offer.
And I know that in our field courses, one of the first things we do is bring out a map of the area where we're working. When you're actually in a place and then you have this opportunity to see a map and you can see how those different regions line up, wetlands and rainforest and tropical lowland forest, and how all of that kind of comes together to promote this wildlife and what human development can mean if you're cutting a swath through these incredible landscapes, what that can do for corridor wildlife migration.
Sure.
Hey, here we are, Pacuare Volcano. It is just an amazing sight.
Is it on the map?
It is on the map, absolutely. It's such a popular site. Coming down here to Costa Rica, especially down to Pacuare, has been very, very useful for me to amend or at least add to the content we were planning to put into the map. There are a number of little species which experts like Kenneth and Claudio, the marine biologists, were able to point at, saying this is very important for our area here. You might want to represent them in the map. I think I will add a few things. Their local knowledge has been fantastic, really helpful.
Pacuare is really an all-encompassing experience for conservation and environmental care, and I think that everything we do here really is just teaching one another and ourselves how to care more for all these small creatures of the world that get forgotten because of how big our cities and our houses feel, and this small little town becomes so important, and it's just us. We don't even have lights in our bedrooms, and it still feels so powerful and strong.
And we hope that both this documentary, this map, and this partnership and EPI's presence here in Missoula lets people know that they can come to Pacuare Reserve. We have a couple of programs that are available for adults as well and families.
Which I didn't know. I had no idea. All through my years connected with Hellgate High School, I thought it was just for kids. So that's been an amazing learning process as well, learning that it's for everyone.
Amazing.
Crazy. Where are you? Oh, down there.
One word to describe Pacuare.
Just warm, I suppose.
Activating.
To describe Pacuare as opportunity.
Inspiring.
Just magic, I think.
Necessary.
Right.
Purpose, maybe, or determination.
Love, probably. It's love all around, nature, people that come here. We really feel amazing feeling that is probably love.